Hello, Talkin really here, Andy Wright, and it is a Wednesday, a very wet and grey Wednesday in the UK. Now, a lot of people keep on about the testing. Oh, I've got this, I've got that, I've got to go and get a test. I'll tell you what, I'm going to play you a little video. Obviously, this was on Facebook and allowed to be shared. Is a guy who has had a test done and it came back positive. However, not going to spoil the story, but you'll see what happens. But this whole scam about PCR tests, this proves the point majorly. And as he says in his video later on, don't take his word for it. Go and do your own testing, literally. However, there is a danger that doing so, you'll just increase the numbers. And it's all about numbers. So, what's the best way to deal with this? It's basically to stop getting tested. Right? If you're not feeling well, stay at home. Unless you're 80 or plus years old, you're in no danger, or very little danger. Hardly anybody is dying of this thing which they're calling COVID.
But let's say welcome to the programme to David Scott, first of all. And David, as these couple of tweets from Dr. Claire Craig are pointing out, there are questions, or at least the justification for the lockdown, the continuing lockdown, just isn't there.
Yes, this is the case. The first graph here shows a very eerie trend whereby the deaths per week seem to follow the PCR tests in the 28 days prior. Obviously, 28 days relates to the definition of COVID now. If you die of anything, but you had a positive PCR test within 28 days, you've died of COVID, irrespective of the bus that may have hit you. And Dr. Claire Craig goes on further here and analyses the data. And she writes here, you'll notice the shape of the two curves are very similar. We can test this. The chart below demonstrates that since August, 93% of the rise in deaths can be accounted for by the rise in the number of tests done in hospital over the preceding 28 days. And she goes on to say how striking this is. In the field of biology, you very rarely get such close correlations. But that's what we've got here. So it does seem that the case epidemic is in fact an epidemic of PCR testing and little more.
And indeed, that is shown quite starkly in the latest graphs from the Office for National Statistics. Number of deaths registered by week, England and Wales, 20th December 2019 to the 2nd of October 2020. This is the latest release because, of course, the ONS is always a little bit behind. Now, we're two things to highlight on this. First of all, the peak around April. Now, of course, they are claiming that those are deaths involving, this is how they're describing it, deaths involving COVID-19. Well, as we have been arguing quite strongly on this programme, well, they involve COVID-19 to the degree that they were largely created by the lockdown policy in any case. But this is at the end of the graph in October is the key here, because look at the number of deaths that we're talking about. Now, there is no justification for lockdown on the basis of that, is there?
No, there isn't. So it's a complete scam. A very poignant tweet that came into me over the weekend was that a student in, I think it was Warwick University, committed suicide, but this was blasted out as being COVID until the young man's father tweeted out, "This is our son you're talking about," and it was nothing to do with COVID. So it's becoming blatant that this is a government propaganda campaign to ensure lockdown, essentially.
COVID basically is a very different form of flu. And we're not saying it doesn't exist, we're saying it's different. We're saying it's very, very mild for the majority of the population. 99.8% recover with no issues. Yes, there are people who have long COVID, and there is an article here that I can show you. Of course, bearing in mind that it's on the BBC website, so you can take it or leave it. But long COVID, who is more likely to get it? Well, it's very interesting because the study says that it is likely to be older people and people with health conditions. So it says that 1 in 20 people are sick for at least 8 weeks, which is, I can't see that happening, but that figure is a bit debatable. I would like to see their study they're quoting. However, it is King's College London. They also showed that being female, having excess weight and asthma raises the risk of having long COVID. Long COVID is where it lasts for a little bit longer than normal. They also reckon that having more than 5 different symptoms in the first week was one of the key risk factors. So it's more than just a cough. The virus that can causes, it affects other organs in the body. Yes, fair enough. We all know that. But the majority of people, don't forget, are going to recover from it very, very quickly. Someone who has a cough, fatigue, headache, diarrhea, lost their sense of smell, they're all potential symptoms, would be at a higher risk than someone just had a cough. And the risk rises with age, particularly over 50 years old, over 60, 70, 80, as did being female. So it's females over 50 that needs to be worried about long COVID. But when you add it all up, there is a very, very small chance, very, very small chance of having long COVID. No one is denying that long COVID is not good. The fear-mongering that's going on, but even when you read this article, it says that she was not admitted to hospital. So come on, it couldn't have been that bad, could it? If she was basically being needed to be given oxygen by a paramedic, why wasn't she admitted? It couldn't have been that bad, could it? I mean, let's face it, we're also hearing about people going, oh, she'll be on a ventilator. Hang on, she wasn't. And also, she's still here. Now, the average people, for people that go into hospital, very, very small number. This is probably why, because they're being treated at home. They're trying to make this out to be a big issue. But my point is, if you stop getting tested, then numbers of tests, positive tests, will stop going up and they will probably go down. And then all of this lockdown and restrictions and everything else will end very soon, very quickly. But you lot out there need to buck up your ideas and get yourself critical thinking. Think about it. The more you test, the more there's going to be results. And also, please now prepare yourself to be astounded by this video.
So my name's Luke. I've recently seen a few videos online of people and stories as well. I've heard a few stories, like I'm sure we all have, of people getting false results back about coronavirus or COVID-19 tests. So I actually ordered 2 tests yesterday online. They came today in the post. So what I've seen online is fucking daft videos of people swabbing a dog, people swabbing puddles outside, various other things, and then a couple of days later getting results back from the NHS, or should we say Serco's track and trace app that's been flouted and touted about as an NHS app, and their results have been positive despite not even taking a physical sample of from the self. So what I did, I went online, I ordered a COVID-19 test, and I'm just going to run my own little experiment really. Not even sure how this will work out. This will be a pre-recorded video. Obviously I've got to take the test, send it back and then get my results, but I'm not actually gonna swab myself. I'm just gonna physically take the little swab test out of the packet, snap it in half, put it in the tube without swabbing anything, and then follow the protocol explained in the step-by-step COVID test guide, and return it back to where it tells me to send it to, and just for experimental reasons see what result I get back. So yeah, stay tuned. Remove the swab from the pack, like you've literally seen that come out of the pack. Take that swab in, put it in the liquid, snap that off. So excuse me, try to do this with one hand. Put the cap back on. Put it in the seal bag. And then I will continue. It's hard to do this with one hand on my phone. So yeah, I'll put that in that bag and then post it off in the box. So that's that posted. Hey guys, Luke again. So it is now Monday the 19th of October. Just a quick follow-up video really. I got my test back this morning. I took the test, as you seen earlier on in the videos, on the 14th of October, which I think was last Thursday off the top of my head. Today I've had my results back. So I actually got my results this morning on my way to Burnley, and they came back fucking positive. If you'd have seen my reaction in the car on the way to Burnley, I wish I'd have got that on video because I fucking head popped off. It's now 6, I'm back. I've had a chance to speak to my parents and show my wife this, and I'll show you the email and the text message I had through from them. So, I mean, what does that mean if I actually took a test, didn't swab myself, and it's come back positive? Reason I did this was because I've heard of friends and people on YouTube having the same results. Fucking stupid swabs had done and the test coming back positive. So, like, I'm not going to go into my views on COVID. We've all had arguments with family, we've had debates with friends and stuff. There's no point me going into what my belief is of COVID-19. It's been clear from the start, there's no denying there's a virus going on. But I mean, clearly now there's an agenda at play and people need to wake the fuck up. And I hate using that cliche, but what is going on? What is going on with the testing system? What is going on with these lockdowns? They're uncalled for. There's people getting mental health problems over this. My own brain's been tested this week when fucking family have thought I've been going crackers and shit. So I've done this test just on the off chance of I might get a positive result back, I might not. And lo and behold, I've had a fucking positive test result back. So that just tells you the whole thing is just fucking crazy and corrupt. That is obviously why the test results are going up, but obviously the deaths seem to be plateauing. Like, I'm no scientist, but there's definitely a gender at play here, so make of it what you will. Obviously my test has now contributed to the COVID test chart results going up, whatever. I've been informed to stay at home for 10 days from my symptoms starting. Well, I haven't had any symptoms, I don't have COVID, I didn't take the test properly. I'd urge you to go apply for a test and take your own test and don't swab yourself and see what you get back. But if it comes back positive, which chances are it is going to do, it's just going to contribute to the rising figures, which implements more lockdowns. So it's lose-lose for us, and whatever agenda this government has got, hopefully one day the truth will come out, but it's just fucking blagged my head basically. So I'll post the email what I got back from NHS and the text message screenshot of that afterwards. But I mean, it's not good, is it? Let's be honest, it's not good. What the fuck's going on? If someone cleverer than me, please explain, because it's just mental. Yeah, so as you can see, this is the email I had this morning from NHS. Official email with my name, date of birth, test date, saying that I'm positive and that I now need to isolate for 10 days from the start of symptoms. I've had a text message as well. Since that, I've had another email this morning from the NHS, and 3 text messages just making sure that I'm staying at home. I can imagine they're going to ring me for various points over the next 10 days to make sure that I'm home and isolating. What a load of bollocks.
As you've seen, this is why I'm telling you, stop getting tested. Because now he's been tested positive, that's one more positive that they're going to count as being positive, and it will increase the number of cases. But they're not cases, they're not infections. They're cases, but they're not infections. They are basically just positive tests. And we all know that 93% of them are false positives. And even the other 7% are not actually true positives, because they're still positive negatives, as it were. The founder and inventor, who is a Nobel Prize winner, basically told people not to accept it as a definitive test. It is not for testing purposes of COVID. PCR tests are being used to scam you. They know full well that these tests are false positives, because Matt Hancock has said that. He said that on the news several times. And the other idiots in the government have said it as well. Stop getting tested and let's end this fiasco. Because it is becoming a fiasco, it really is. Let's get back and try and regain control of the situation. Stop being tested. Stop applying for testing. If you're not well, stay at home unless you're really, really ill and you are over the age of 60. I mean, the average death of an elderly person, 82. So come on, and don't worry about your children, because there have been 4 people under the age of 20 have died since February. That's 4 people, 4 children, 4 young people since February with no pre-existing conditions, and only 17 since February that have other illnesses. Unless you are really, really ill, or you have more than one symptom as described in that previous section, then don't get tested. Let's end this fiasco right now. Have a good day. Bye for now.